All right, let's make some carbonara. You need eggs. I usually do like 3 per 2 people. Bacon, yes, not guanciale, because I never find any, and it's crispier that way. First, you're going to want to start by pouring yourself a nice glass of vino. I prefer a white with my carbonara. Actually, it's even called pecorino, which is great. Then you're going to want to measure out your portions. I usually just do it in a dish, and then you want to fill your pasta water, salt it generously, and set that to boil. Then I used probably a bit too much olive oil right there, but it's good olive oil. And you want to get that started to heat up for your bacon. Cut them into tiny little squares like I'm doing. I know I'm cutting it bad. The bacon was slippery. Then you're going to put it in, turn it like 3 or 4-ish. I mean, you don't want it spitting at you, but you want it to cook. Then you're going to get your yolks. Again, like I said, for 2 people, I usually do 3. If it's just me, I still do 2 because I like yolks. And you want to put some Parmesan in there. You can use pecorino. You can use a mix. I always use Parmesan. And then since Dylan eats with me, I have to use less pepper than I want. But that's the base amount of pepper that you're going to use. Also, if you have like the crackier, bigger pepper, do that. That's better. I wish I had that. Make sure to separate your little bacons while they're cooking. And then when they're about, like more than halfway done, you can throw the pasta in to boil for 9 minutes. And then once your bacon is cooked, you want it to have some time to cool down. So I did have like 2 minutes after I put the pasta water in. Then I'm going to pour most of the oil into a cup, and I'm putting that into my egg mixture. You don't want to take all of the oil from the bacon. You want to leave a bit in there so you can put it on the pasta later. But you got to stir while you put that baby in. Now, there's 3 minutes left in that water. That's when you're going to get your pasta water out. I just use a mug. I got more than I needed. I probably put a bit too much water in there, to be honest. But it's fine. As long as you end up cooking it with heat, doesn't really matter. But this is probably the most amount of pasta water you want to do. Look how thin that is. Obviously, next step is pour yourself some more wine. If you haven't drank that much, fix that. Then you're going to pour the rest into your bacon and oil. So it's just bacon and oil in there. I'm just getting the oil all around the pasta. I think it's like on low or something. Then you're going to put in your mixture. I like to use that little spatula guy. It really helps get all of the egg juice out onto your pan. And then it's like stir city. After this, you just keep stirring. And like I said, I probably put a bit too much pasta water, so it's like a little, if it's not enough, you're just going to lower the heat, or I guess you could make the heat higher, but I lowered it for some reason. I guess I was almost there. You just don't want to burn it, but it's warm, and that'll get it to get thicker. You can see I'm like moving the spatula. The water is no longer water. And look at that. You're all done. Yummy, yummy. So there's like no liquid on there. It's just sauce. Pure sauce. All right, enjoy and eat it immediately.